This 17th century French painting taught me two lessons I'd like to share with you. It depicts Cronus, the personification of time in Greek mythology, in a poetic and painful act, cutting the wings of a Cupid. Through this act, time seems to teach us that even love, perhaps our highest emotion, is not beyond its reach. Upon researching this painting, I found it might carry a very personal meaning for the artist who created it. Stories tell that the painter spent his lifetime seeking recognition, which only came when he was well into old age. He had a great dream, to restore the chapel of a historic monument in France. However, when he finally got the job and started the restoration, the limitations of his advanced age made the task too arduous. After 5 years of efforts, he had to abandon the project. Then, in the solitude of his studio, he painted this work, and just a year later, at the age of 83, he passed away. It seems that for him, time proved to be more powerful than love. An entire lifetime was not enough to fulfill all his ambitions. This makes us think, we too are in this strange game with time, where it always seems to have the last word. No one can defeat it. Not even the vast universe is safe. One day, all the matter that makes up the world will dissolve into chaos. And this might be devastating, but there is also beauty in it, because in a universe governed by time, in the end, everything is temporary. Everything will pass. Not just love, but also anguish, fears. In today's uncertain times, with pandemics and crises, remembering the vastness of the universe can bring us some comfort. Because if time teaches us anything, it's that moments of difficulty, like everything else, will also pass. Ignorance, tragedy, injustice, they all have an end. The first lesson I learned is this: reality is always transient. So perhaps what remains is just to learn to endure, or to enjoy, to wait, and above all, to value the now, which is all we really have. Reflecting on the work of the French painter made me think about my own relationship with time and how I can find balance amid its relentless changes and future projections. This is where I took the second lesson, which changed the way I live my life. Consider this: 2 students just started college. The first, Logan, lives in a way that absorbs every moment to the fullest. He enjoys everything: the classes, the college restaurant, the library, and even the parties. Logan faces a peculiar challenge. His intense perception of the present is so encompassing that he cannot project himself 5 years into the future. For him, each day is a new page. On the other hand, Sarah is the exact opposite. Informed about a rigorous bar exam she will face in 5 years, necessary for all future lawyers, she already begins to worry. Sarah is always projecting her future, thinking about the job market, law firms, and everything necessary to pass the bar exam. Her focus is so intense that even during classes, she is thinking about how each detail can impact her preparation for her future. Well, I think you get it. Logan focuses on the immediate experience, interacting with the world around him, the professors, the books, the peers, and each seminar. Sarah, meanwhile, lives in a constant future, already anticipating the needs and trends of the bar exam 5 years from now. So now I ask you, as they both go on, this one, class by class, savoring, noting, the bar exam is the future, and the future doesn't enter his head, he just lives today. This one knows everything from the future but is zero here in the present. I ask you, when the time comes for both to graduate and face the world, which of the two is better prepared? I asked this question to a friend, and he told me, I would risk saying that Sarah would be more prepared because she really planned for that moment there. She didn't appreciate the journey. She might not have enjoyed and even learned what she could have learned if she had lived each day as if it were her last. But she prepared for that there, so she is perfectly capable of facing that challenge. Indeed, that's the impression we have. We have the impression that people who live life focusing on the future are more prepared than those who live life simply living in the present. Interestingly, Logan enjoyed life and exhausted life moment by moment with everything life had to offer. While I think Sarah wanted to be Logan. She lived in imagination, anticipation, hope. While Logan was affected by joys and sorrows, Sarah was affected by fears and hopes, do you see? So, when you ask who is really prepared, we are dealing with the typical question of the ideal society. But that's not the deeper question. Philosophy challenges us to think not about who is more prepared, but about what constitutes a good life. Look, life during childhood or adolescence is no less valuable than adult life. To think that we are just preparing for the real beginning that supposedly happens around 30 is a mistake. Every moment of life, whether at 5, 10, 30, 40, or 50 years, is precious in itself and should not be seen only as preparation for the future. Your life at 18 is worth as much as your time and your life at 30. And if you focus entirely on the future, you are placing more value on a bar exam than on life itself, see? You are putting more value where life is not, a life only supposed, a life cogitated, a life imagined, than properly the life of experiences. The big problem is that our education often directs us to focus on what is to come, not on what is happening now. When you enter college, you will see, it's really cool. You enter college, the professor already tells you, there will be a bar exam in 5 years. And now, 5 years? I mean, wait a minute. I was already waiting 12 years to get to college that they told me was really cool. This guy could wait a bit, right? The guy throws me to 5 years from now? Then you pass the exam and enter an office, get a job. And someone says here there are 15 hierarchical levels, we have a career plan, and then you think, this is only going to end when I'm 80 years old. When do I really start to live? That's why I insist, we need to learn to value and live life where it really is, here and now. Since I was young, I had a clear goal in mind, to enter an engineering college and then make a career at a major bank. I studied hard for 2 years before entering college, thinking that I would be happy to get into college. In the 5 years of study, my happiness would be to graduate and be hired by a major bank. I graduated, got into a major bank, and then my moment of climax became each promotion I wanted. Today, I am a consultant at the largest bank in Latin America. For a long time, I lived with my eyes fixed on the future, always thinking about the next step, the next goal. However, now at 30, I realized something crucial. I was so focused on reaching these milestones that I rarely truly lived in the present. I was being Sarah. Reflecting on my journey up to here, I realized how I was so immersed in the incessant pursuit of future goals that I could hardly appreciate the present. I was always looking at the next step, the next conquest, without really living the moment. I think many of us can identify with this. That's where amor fati comes in, a concept that has accompanied me in recent times. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, was the one who created this powerful expression, which simply means love of fate. And what does that really mean? Well, it's about accepting everything that happens in our lives as an integral part of our destiny, even the things we consider negative. It's about finding beauty and meaning in every experience, whatever it may be. It's about embracing the totality of life, with all its highs and lows, without resistance. But what does this have to do with living in the present moment? Well, think with me for a moment. When we are constantly worried about the future, when we are always looking beyond the horizon for something more, we are missing the richness of the here and now. We are failing to live fully because our minds are elsewhere. Nietzsche invites us not just to accept, but to love everything that happens to us, to find joy even in adversities. It's a radically different approach from what we were taught, but one that can free us from the weight of the past and anxiety about the future. And that's where the true key to living fully in the present moment lies. By embracing amor fati, we learn to find beauty and meaning in every moment, no matter how challenging it may seem. By accepting our fate, we are allowing the present to unfold before us in all its glory and complexity. So, the next time we find ourselves worried about the future or lamenting the past, let's remember amor fati. Let's remember that everything that happens to us is part of our destiny, and it's up to us to find beauty and meaning in every moment, no matter how challenging it may seem. It's about truly living, fully, here and now. It's about embracing each moment with all our being, without reservations. It's about living a life of love for fate. This realization made me change direction. This year I started this YouTube channel focused on awakening consciousness and inspiring transformations, helping people reach their potential through knowledge, sharing my reflections while simultaneously learning from the studies I do, and from you, has been a very rewarding experience. I'm finding that by helping others think differently, I'm also thinking differently, and living more fully. This channel has become my new way of being present, of truly experiencing each moment, instead of always aiming at what's ahead. Making these videos, I learn, I grow, and most importantly, I live, truly live, here and now. If at any moment while watching the video you learned something, if even for a few seconds you thought about things you had not thought of before, if at any instant you thought of sharing this knowledge with people you like, if any of these things happened, it's because I delivered value through this video. So like the video here and subscribe to the channel. I'll leave a video here where I focused entirely on the subject Amor Fati by Nietzsche. Thank you for staying until now and see you next time.